Alrighty, welcome on back to another HouseHack update. It's been a minute since we've done this. Let's make sure we're all live here and everything's good. And so I wanted to do a live update, mostly so that if you had questions, you could throw a question in there. You usually catch me live for the news. I figured I'd do a PM update, just sort of if you had general questions, you could throw them out there for HouseHack. But I've got a few updates I want to go through. So we're going to touch on some updates regarding costs at the company, fundraising at the company, AI updates. There have been some questions about mini funds. We're going to address that as well. We'll talk about all of that sort of in that order. So first things first, if you wanted a little bit of an update on the fundraising for the company, some of you have been asking for it. Thank you for asking and thank you for investing. The company is currently still doing its 5% bond round. We haven't gotten any kind of crazy shock from the Federal Reserve where we think it makes sense to close the round yet. Though we do think that once payroll data comes out, it's possible that it happens after the October Fed meeting and the Fed panic cuts if the payrolls data is really bad, in which case, obviously, at that point, we might consider lowering the yield or closing the round. Obviously, if you're in at 5%, you keep getting your 5% in that bond round. Now, quickly remember how this works. This video is not a solicitation. If you want to invest in HouseHack.com, you can go to HouseHack.com, read the offering circular or the private placement memorandum. The 5% yielding round is basically, it's $1.40 conversion price, and you get yield through conversion, and then you get shares. But the only way you get shares is if the value of the company goes up, which I think some of the updates here make us pretty excited about us being able to well, knock on wood, we hope that the value of the company will be able to go up a lot with what we're working on here. So we're really optimistic. But obviously I'm the CEO, so I always have to sort of balance that out. Of course, if we have a little bit of bias here. But we raised about $1 million in August and somewhere around, I think it was $800,000 in September. What we did is we said we would buy in Q3 and Q4 again, and we did in September. So really in the last 30 days, we bought about 7 properties, all wedge deals, all fixer-uppers, all great deals. We might buy a few more between now and the end of the year, but we don't want to spend all of our money. Keep some money for a rainy day fund. And then, of course, what we're doing is we're putting a lot of money into research and development that we're saving on G&A expenses. So this is actually really exciting. We cut our general and administrative expenses massively. Like we think our financials next year, when we actually have like full year reporting next year, even honestly here in Q4, our G&A expenses are going to look really low, in my opinion, compared to what they had historically been, because we just removed a lot of people we just didn't need in places we didn't need them. And it's fantastic because we're just taking that and we're throwing it into R&D. For example, our net cost for an in-house attorney was probably like $300,000. And we're like, yeah, this is cool. We can do certain things in-house, but for the rare time we need an attorney, we can also just pick up the phone and call an attorney. And we were finding, like, even with an in-house attorney, we were still working with outside securities counsel. So it's like, man, it kind of feels like we're double paying here. So we canned that. And, now we're probably spending somewhere around, maybe at an annual rate, like, let's see, we're probably 26, probably about $500K on R&D on an annual basis right now. So it's not, for like a startup that's doing artificial intelligence, it's actually relatively low. One of the reasons why we're keeping the cost so low is because a lot of the machine learning training we're doing, we don't need instantaneous like cloud data centers giving us like the big NVIDIA Blackwell infrastructure chips that are getting sold at high premiums to give us the fastest speeds. Instead, what we did is we bought our own Blackwell chips and we run them in-house slowly. And it's great because we can efficiently train our own machine learning models. And then in the future, when it gets to inference, of course, then we'll use cloud infrastructure. Really, really exciting. I'll get more into that in just a moment, and I'll show you some of the stuff we're doing. But that's how we're really able to optimize a lot of costs, because right now we just don't need speed isn't the barrier right now. It's a lot of infrastructure building with our team on the artificial intelligence side, and we're really excited. So we'll talk AI in just a moment. So we hit wedge deals. We just bought another 7 properties in the last 30 days. We're going to renovate those. We'll do a couple ADUs on some of them as well, which will be really fun. So, some of those engineering plans are already in progress, which is great. Still building out our ADUs. We're about to finish our first 2 ADUs. Then we'll have 2 more coming there. Then we'll have another 8 ADUs. And then miscellaneous single families, we'll have some ADUs. So we've got a lot going on the construction side. Remember that about HouseHack. We've got 3 things going on. One, we've got the buy and hodl real estate investment side. Then we've got the development side, and the buy and hodl side is obviously wedge deals. Then the development side. And the third thing we see, the third sort of phase of the company, if you will, is the artificial intelligence side. And this makes us really excited. I'll show you some examples here. So I posted this. We just did this in the Meet Kevin app for course members. We released this community tab, which is really cool because now, here, let me share it with you. We can actually have little threads and we can have little forum discussions. We literally just released this like an hour ago. And what I did is I threw some pictures in there for some HouseHack things we've got going on. And so I wrote this little update. I wrote, this is getting scary good. We can instantly determine deals across the entire country, identifying wedge deals to help maximize our time efficiency in single family real estate. Team is really kicking butt. And so really what we're doing is we're using our machine learning training. So training that I'm doing where I'm, training tens of thousands to eventually, many hundreds of thousands of images of real estate data. And we're training our ML to identify, hey, when does something look like it's potentially a good deal? That's phase 1. After we do phase 1, we're gonna get our renovation AI going, where it looks at this and says, all right, it's gonna cost you X dollars to renovate that bathroom or that bedroom or that kitchen. And then we can combine the renovation AI with valuation AI and actually tell you the spread of how good your deal potentially is that's on the market. And it really lets real estate agents prioritize deals for their clients, investors to prioritize deals for themselves, and home buyers to prioritize deals for themselves. So really, we see 3 prongs of people who would use this software. Originally we didn't think we would want to license this out because we're like, this is so good, we'll just use it. But then we're like, but we don't have enough capital to buy every single deal we're finding. So why don't we just license it? And so, we're really excited because we're like, wow, I posted another couple pictures over here of kind of like what it looks like. And, how not only are we labeling what the rooms are, but we're also, hey, this is likely a wedge deal, or it's not likely a wedge deal, or it's not a useful picture. 2 photos I posted above are photos I found within 45 seconds on the app. Still training to do, and I train every single day. This is very exciting. Also note, this is just our training portal. The app will have some pretty cool user interface. And then of course I'm doing this live stream, so I wrote I was gonna do a bigger update. Here's just another example. And that was just all like, I'm going back and forth. I'm like, let me go post another picture. I take another screenshot. So it just gives you an example. I mean, here's a place where like the ceiling is collapsing and there's mildew on the walls, right? Like, this is awesome. This is like our AI finding and prioritizing these deals for us. And so really what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from deal prioritization, which is already great, to value prioritization using those images, our renovation AI and our valuation AI all combined together. And really we're just gonna license it. So like the way we look at it is if we had, I don't know, just as an example, okay, let's say we had 5,000 people in my community who signed up for the app, so a small percentage of my audience. Let's say 5,000 people sign up and they're like, hey man, like that's so good, I'll pay, $300 a month or whatever it is to find a deal, and then maybe they find a deal and they cancel and they come back in the future, or they're a real estate agent and they use it forever because they want all their clients using it, so we'll have like seat-based pricing for that. But anyway, 5,000 people paying $300 a month would be like $1.5 million a month of software revenue. And obviously we think the margins could be exceptional at that. That's of course where we're gonna start spending a lot more than we currently are spending on AI, because we're gonna have to use inference data centers, right? We'll have to use the CoreWeaves or the Oracles or whatever. That's when our AI costs are really gonna go up. But they're only gonna go up, in my opinion, proportionate to the amount of users we have. So we're okay with that because the income will be higher. But anyway, that's just an example where that could be, if you had 5,000 people paying $300 a month, that's $18 million of revenue. That's insane. Like, it would take so long to get that in rent. And that's a lot of wedge deals. Now, that's not saying we're not still a real estate company. We are a wedge deal company, but we're also now running this potential AI licensing play. And what's so exciting about that is it could massively change the valuation of this company way faster than we ever imagined if people like it. It's possible people end up using our AI and they're like, man, this sucks. I don't think so. I'm really excited about it. But then again, like I say, I'm biased. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to look at some of the questions y'all have. But yeah, I'm like super, super excited about all of this. And so don't let my, enthusiasm be, too like, I don't want to come across like salesy or whatever. Somebody says, do you ever focus on multifamily in distress or just single families? We own multifamily. So we own beautiful multifamily buildings. The artificial intelligence, so yeah, like we as investors, we're okay with multifamily. We prefer single family, but our AI is just going to start with single family only. Good question. Greetings from Puerto Rico. What's up? That's awesome. So then let's see here. Real estate is hyper local. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really cool about it is not only can we invest in the markets that we're best in with HouseHack, but we can tune our artificial intelligence software to your specific market, so it actually tells you the best deals in your market for you, which is awesome. Like we're so excited. And so the time frame that we have is we think that probably, towards the end of this quarter, so quarter 4 here, we'll do a private like alpha release. Probably just to like some select people, course members or whatever. Max, you're here every day. We'd love to have you in there, try it out, and then you could like touch it and feel it and try it yourself. And then we'll see how we scale up with users. But the goal will be to have some kind of public beta in the first quarter of next year, and then slowly start releasing things like, at first it's just going to be prioritization based on what the properties look like. It's not going to prioritize valuation yet, but at least we'll have that prioritization. Then we'll get renovation AI and valuation AI over time. So we're gonna, grow this. It's sort of like, think about it kind of like Tesla full self-driving, except, we have no intention of this taking 10 years to figure out. But it'll come out in like phases, like, okay, now it works on the highway. Now it works on streets. Now it stops at traffic lights, all right? So that's what we're really excited about. So super, super stoked with that. Somebody donated $19 here. Let's see here. Our yields, and like some, okay. Yeah. So if you invest in the current round at 5%, you earn 5%. We just pay it out to you monthly until it converts to shares. And then you get shares, but the only way that converts is if you're like up on your shares, right? And so we don't do, if you're asking like projections or whatever, it's really hard to project what a startup could be worth tomorrow or some point in the future. I think the biggest risk right now is that some like VC comes along and like I've already got some people going, Kevin, make a pitch deck. Like I want to send this to people. So I like some venture capitalists. They're like, Kevin, give us a pitch deck. I'm like, okay, we don't have a pitch deck. We don't do performance and stuff like that. So I got to put this together. If we put something like that together and people like, you guys are way underselling shares, then I don't know, things could change with our fundraise. I don't know that. They could also look and go, this is stupid. I have no idea. So I'm not a projection guy when it comes to my own stuff because I hate doing that because I'm optimistic. I'll just put it that way. So I always like to be transparent with that. Where did the term wedge come from? It really came actually from the community where, people are like, Kevin, you're always talking about this difference between your all-in cost and then what the property is worth and that wedge being your boost to your net worth. And it just sort of stuck. So it came from YouTube. Collection Property says, let's go public in January. I really am very excited to go public with HouseHack one day. But I think like the time we want to go public is if we're cranking our AI. If like our AI is cranking next year and we're still in an AI bull run, let's do it. So we'll just sort of respond to circumstances, right? Really, really excited about that. Let's see here. So how to invest using my 401k. You would want to sign up for an account with directed IRA, and that's not a personal recommendation. You have to figure that out yourself if that's a fit for you. Can't give you personalized advice, obviously, but do check that out. That's directed IRA. They let you invest through your retirement account. Yeah, so pretty awesome. So yeah, YouTube Dredge, you're asking about the development of the. Well, you'll get a chance to touch the AI, right? You'll get a chance to go in there and feel it yourself. Hopefully this quarter, which will be very exciting. So we're stoked about that. We haven't figured out pricing yet or exactly how much we want to spend. But one thing we have figured out is that we don't really think that, we've talked so much in the past about this idea of mini funds or whatever. We think that idea is something that we're just going to kill. And the reason we want to kill that is because it's too confusing for a lot of folks to understand different entities and all this. So HouseHack right now, the mission right now is just buy great deals. We're going to hold these great properties. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to focus on where we think the biggest ROI is. And that's continuing to do our wedge deals, continuing to do our development, but then also launching this artificial intelligence, which, we're already using. So it's to us, it's just sort of expanding it to the rest of the country, maybe even internationally. I think that one of the things that we find is that as we train in new areas, you have to train differently for different areas. So while we can expand internationally, there will be, we'll probably have to train different MLs for different regions as we sort of expand the app. And we also don't know how much demand there's going to be in I don't know. Canada is relatively similar to the United States, but let's just say, for example, you get Japanese listings or Chinese listings or whatever. That'll be more of a future game plan, but we're pretty excited about that. So, good questions here. Great questions. So very good questions. Yeah, and if you have any kind of questions after this live stream, always remember you can email us. It's ir@househack.com.
Email ir@househack.com.
If you want, you could also text with me. This is no guarantees I can reply quickly, but I do have this little text number. That number, if you text it, you sort of opt in to get texts. Sometimes I send updates out over there as well, but I just sit here and I reply to people. Sometimes I'll even send little happy birthdays. So very exciting. So yeah, we've answered that. The AI beta drop, it's going to be an alpha, and it'll probably be November, December is sort of the goal. Somebody says, so original investors have shares. That's correct. Yeah, and new investors are getting convertible bonds is what it is, which is, at a higher, they convert at a higher valuation, but they're getting a 5% yield, right? So the offerings are different, but it's a great offering. I invested myself $5 million into the convertible bond round, and my goal is to buy more before the year is over. Mostly because, again, I'm trying to be as not insider information-y as possible, just by being as transparent as possible. Hey, here are our timeframes for the AI. Here's the roadmap for where we're going to go with the AI. I'm really excited about this. This is why I want to buy more. So it'll be the same round. So that's pretty exciting. So Marshall says, yo, just joining the live stream. Can't wait for HouseHack to blow. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's really awesome. Yeah, so this is a broad update. So I think we've hit everything here. Oh yeah, and we started by talking about rates. We talked about lower SG&A expenses now going into research and development. We talked about using our own Blackwell chips to train our MLs. And then of course we talked about our R&D spend and how our R&D spend should only have to scale up once we're getting users and paying customers for the SaaS side of the business. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll also get R&D tax credits, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Wild. Big beautiful bill, I guess, is going to send us some more tax benefits. It's kind of incredible. So anyway, somebody says meet AI. Yeah, exactly. So the other thing too is somebody says you're pumped. That's what it is. Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty excited. The other thing is we are toying with like we're so excited about people being able to take money that they make in the stock market and reinvest it into a diversified real estate portfolio and AI company now, right? We're so excited about people, being able to reinvest in this company also in the future. I mean, we've got a lot of investors who invested in the original round, they invested in the second round, and now they're hitting us up and they're saying, hey, can we invest more? We're actually seeing a demand for people to sort of like auto reinvest. And so we are in the background working on an option where people can automatically invest on a monthly or recurring basis if they want. So we're working the details of that. Obviously, a lot more details than I have answers for right now, but we're working on an opportunity to have some kind of like automatic reinvest feature that lets you put money into diversified real estate on a monthly basis, into HouseHack, the company, and earn a yield. So that'll be really cool. And we think that reinvesting is so exciting, not only reinvesting some of your income or your stock profits or whatever into real estate, or maybe you're getting out of your own rental properties and you want to reinvest into a HouseHack or whatever, that we're tempted to change the name from HouseHack to Reinvest. So this is something I haven't mentioned other than in our mastermind group. And so TBD, we're working that idea, but I'm pretty excited about that as a potential, mostly because like here's just a sample logo of what that might look like. I'll just throw this up kind of on the fly here. I wasn't even planning on bringing this up at this point, but I have the logo here on my desktop and I saw it. I'm like, I guess I can mention it. So it's something we're thinking of and we really like it. So if you have feedback on it, feel free to let us know. But we think it, like hacks were really popular for a while. And, we think it's so much easier to pitch, hey, reinvest into diversified American real estate, when literally the name of the company is Reinvest. So we actually really love it. We think it's amazing because it's logical. Like, hey, you want to invest in diversified American real estate? Download the Reinvest app. What's actually kind of crazy too is if you think about it, see how we broke up the coloring of the letters? It's like real estate, invest, reinvest. So we're pretty stoked about that. I haven't said anything bearish. I need to, because otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble with the SEC, right? Like, there's risk with every investment. Make sure you read the offering circular. You could go to househack.com, read the offering circular, read the private placement memorandum. There's risk with every investment. Every investment can lose you money. I don't know, right? I mean, I always say, I think there's limited downside when you're backed by, actual real estate investments. Just ballpark off the top of my head, probably have cash and actual real estate market values, ballpark somewhere around $80 million, convertible bonds of maybe, 16, 17, $18 million, something like that. And we have no bank debt. We still have zero bank debt. I don't want bank debt. I personally just paid off my own home because I'm like, you know what, right now in this market, I don't want bank debt. Just don't want it. And I think that gives us plenty of opportunities because to us, we're like, look, if the economy keeps booming with artificial intelligence, great. We've got an AI product. We can't wait. We're very excited about it. If the economy goes into a recession, no problem. We've got no bank debt. We're not going anywhere. So we think we're very insulated in that sense, which is exciting to us. So somebody writes, Reinvest is probably more mainstream. Yep. Reinvest as in real estate invest. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So pretty exciting. Will the monthly reinvestments auto be 10K minimum? No. That'd be too much. Honestly, it'd probably be as an example, I'll just give you an example. Let's say you invest $20,000. You might have an option to say, hey, I want to auto reinvest $500 a month or $1,000 a month, something like that. And so that actually, if you think about it, goes hand in hand with the whole brand name Reinvest, because then it's like, hey, I'm reinvesting on a recurring basis. So like it all really aligns. Somebody says only houses. But that's not true because we also have apartment buildings. Capitalize it, add a hyphen to reinvest. But then it's like we're German. The Germans add hyphens everywhere. So reinvest is interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Very, very, very exciting. I have the unaccredited shares from the round A. Now qualify for accredited. What's the new minimum? 20K. The current minimum is 20K to invest. Exactly. If you have any questions, remember you could always email us at ir@househack.com. I'll also be responding to text messages tonight here. If you want to text this number, you're welcome to. I'll be in there responding to text. I don't have AI set up for that number yet. And I say yet as if I'm actually going to set it up. I have no plans at the moment to, but who knows, that could change. That'd be the smart thing to do. But like I manually go through them, which means if you don't get a response, I'm sorry. But I tried. So yeah, this video will be available later. Aren't you German? Yes, that is true, but it is an American company. Let's see here. For all those of us that have invested in the 2023 round, let's get this unicorn to unicorn one day. Keep up the great work. Oh, hey, that'd be great. Or look, to me, I'm all about if like I want people to look at this and be like, dang man, I made a bet on some YouTuber and they went from, hey, we're thinking about starting a real estate company and buying fixer-uppers to, wow, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. They fully committed to this company. They then turned a portion of the business, or maybe all of the business, into an AI business on top of the existing real estate that they're buying and hodling. And oh wow, we made lots of money. I can't guarantee that, but like I would love if people made a ton of money, and then people look back and like, wow, I made a bet on a YouTuber and I made a ton of money. Like that'd be sick. Like some people are murmuring. They're like, Kevin, if you guys are doing this whole AI thing, you guys should have like an Elon Musk stock comp plan or whatever, where it's like, hey man, if you get us a 10x or 100x or whatever, like whatever. There's no such plan today. Maybe there will be in the future, but those are the things people are saying. I think it's because they're echoing the excitement. And I don't know, maybe excitement can be contagious. You know, it's so I always have to like bring it down, Kevin. It's an investment, okay? Like chill, and you're biased. So how would one decide which is best, using a retirement traditional 401k or after? Yeah, I mean, I think KD, you asked that question earlier on the live stream too. You know, really this gets into personal financial advice, right? Whether you should invest in a retirement account or not. It's really up to you ultimately, and you know, you could always hit up a personal financial advisor and find out. But that can't be me. I cannot be your personal financial advisor to tell you how to do that. So let's see. Is one bill IPO still the goal? I mean, the goal is to make people money. How much that is, I mean, Scale AI sold to Meta for $14 billion, and they were data labeling highways. I'm like, man, if they're data labeling highways, and and they sold for $14 billion to Meta, and we're literally able to identify not only bathrooms, kitchens, basements, hallways, entries, or whatever, but then also identify features that make a property a good deal, or maybe too much of a fixer, or not a good deal, or whatever, and then in the future put a renovation AI estimate on that and a valuation AI estimate on that, and then give people an opportunity to reinvest in real estate, maybe even in the future through tokenization. Dude, like, a bill? Come on, that's thinking too small. and I'm not trying to get like the big eyes, but I'm like, maybe I don't understand why Scale AI sold for $14 billion to Meta. But I look at it, I'm like, oh man, if they can get $14 billion for labeling highways, what we're doing makes me really excited about buying shares in HouseHack. So, yeah, only real estate. Exactly, like OnlyFans. It'd be great to auto reinvest our monthly yield payment. Yeah, that might be something we're able to do as well. To be determined. So Somebody says, what made you pivot to AI? We're not pivoting to AI. In fact, if you looked at the very first videos we ever made of HouseHack, we talked about how we had this internal artificial intelligence all the way back in 2022. Like, we talked about how we had the wedge finder. We just talked about using the wedge finder personally. And so we've always had the wedge finder. What changed is we said, wow, we can't buy all of the deals we're finding. Maybe we should license this. That's it. So it's really an evolution, you know? It's an evolution on top of what we've been doing. So, pretty exciting. So what else here? I'm gonna take a copy of this video and I'll post it on the HouseHack channel as well. So it's over there as well. So that'll be there later tonight, just so it's on the HouseHack channel as well. So yes, that'll be there. Somebody says, do you spray tan? I don't. Nope, but I do go running outside. I think getting sunlight is very important on a daily basis. Stay healthy. You must invest in yourself. So, very well. Awesome. Somebody says, I'm planning to invest at the end of the year. Will that be possible? That depends entirely on the Federal Reserve. If the Fed panics, because like there's a possibility, in my opinion, after the government shutdown ends, which I think will be the longest government shutdown in history, there's a possibility that all of a sudden we get like 2 or 3 months of payroll data at once, and the Fed's gonna go, oh, we've been wrong, and we've been flying blind, and we get like emergency rate cuts. I don't know, but we're in a weird time. So we'll see. So very well. Somebody says, almost sold on it just because of diversifying my portfolio. Everything else just sounds like a plus in this moment. Don't let me be, too bullish. It's, I do think of it as a diversifier. See, right now, when people invest in HouseHack, when we got the valuation done for HouseHack, which is the basis for this round, the valuation was between $1.40 to $2 per share, and we priced it at the lower range of that. That was based on a Wall Street firm looking at our company, seeing really high G&A expenses, and not seeing an AI SaaS play, and they were just looking at us doing wedge deals. So, this is my opinion, but it is my opinion that our valuation is probably already higher than what we're raising money at. I can't guarantee that. It could be wrong. There's no guarantee to that. Okay? But all I know is the investment, the valuation we got, done by a Wall Street firm, broker-dealer, as we were getting, we were like in the early innings of thinking about doing an IPO. That's why we started getting PCAOB audited. They didn't know we were going to go license artificial intelligence or do the things that we're doing now. They didn't see the progress that we're making with our artificial intelligence. They didn't see how we were able to reduce our G&A as much as we are and still operate functionally, actually potentially operate even more functionally because we don't have distractions. Like, it's actually kind of amazing. You could cut G&A and become more efficient. Like, there's definitely a curve there that's kind of fascinating to find the balance in. But, if we got a new valuation done, it could be substantially different than what it was then. Which makes sense, because that was, August of 24, I think, was when that was done? I think, I'm not sure. But anyway, so he says, still planning to IPO in 28. 28 to 30, that's always the range that I've given. That's my goal. If obviously we're in like a Great Depression, it ain't gonna happen, right? So, Max says, there's a reason why I watch you every day. You provided me with so much value in life, economics, business. Oh, well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So that's very cool. Are there any corporate entities interested in HouseHack? I'm not sure what you mean. You mean like other people want to partner with us or something? Maybe I don't understand that question. So good question. Let's see. We talked that. We answered that. Is the HouseHack 5% backed by gov bonds? Well, it's really our rental income, right? Because we're getting rental income on what, $80 million of real estate. I mean, some of it's vacant because we're renovating it. The stuff we're not renovating is fully occupied. So we have all this rent coming in. We're like, all right, the rent pays the 5% yield. In the meantime, yeah, we put it in a money market fund, when we're not deploying. So we've got maybe, I don't know what we have left right now, like $6 or $7 million sitting around. We put that in a money market fund, and that just collects 4% or whatever. So on that money, yeah, we're paying out the delta of 1%, which, who cares? So let's see. Okay, cool. Are you going to work on the AI for the commercial side of real estate? Maybe in the future. Somebody says, this is huge. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. Will you be able to operate effectively when you have thousands of homes? Well, yeah. I mean, it just, you don't go from, 100 units to 1,000 homes tomorrow. We might be able to grow very, very quickly if rates plummet. I mean, think about this. Let's say we had $100 million of equity, and then rates got cut to 0, and we started doing, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but we started doing IO 20% down financing. We could literally take $100 million of equity and turn it into $500 million of real estate. Yeah, there's going to be some growing pains, but that's my job to deal with, right? So we're pretty excited about that. Very, very excited. Is how I'm in venture. Oh, venture capital interest, I think, has only started since over the past few, actually probably this past week, because I was a little bit more public about the fact that we're actually cooking some AI right now, and it's really good. Usually venture capital firms aren't looking at wedge deals in real estate, right? But now that we're cooking with AI and the samples that I showed you here, more people are reaching out from venture capital funds like, hey, you really need to put a deck together. And I'm like, I have to sit and put a deck together. It's fine. Obviously, we'll do that with our team, but I touch it all. And so it's interesting, but it's sort of too soon to say anything else, I suppose. I still have my HouseHack investor brochure. When you came to Arizona, you shook everyone's hand. That still stands out to me. Oh, well, thank you for that. Yeah, and not a pitch deck, but we did have a brochure with pictures. So, very cool. Somebody says, what bank is it? I mean, there are plenty giving 4%. I mean, look at Robinhood's paying 4.25% as an example, right? This is not a big deal. So, very cool. Somebody says, let's buy a 500 unit apartment complex, one roof, one business. No. Those who know. Do you use bank debt for your acquisition? No, no bank debt, no CMBS money, none of that, no life insurance, none of that crap. No debt. We got some convertible bonds, that's it. No debt. So, hey Kevin, a huge fan, been following you since COVID. I went to meet you at the New York Stock Exchange back in 2022. Oh, well, thank you for coming over. Sorry I missed you, but thank you for being there. So, thanks for answering. Yeah, exactly, Marshall. Heck yeah. So, can I invest in a self-directed Roth on M1 Finance? I don't think M1 Finance is going to let you do private. I think you really have to go through a directed IRA, and I'm going to talk to the CEO of directed IRA, I think on Monday, and I'm going to see if you could use a Roth. Mostly because I want to use the Roth to buy some HouseHack shares. And I want my kids, my kids are each going to have a Roth now, starting this year. And I want to take their money and I want them to buy HouseHack shares in this round in their retirement accounts. That's my goal. Is Trump making it easier or harder for HouseHackers? Trump's making it easier for every business to operate. I'm more concerned of what problems that's going to create in the long term, what kind of new bubble that's going to set up. But he's not making anything harder right now. So somebody right there, yes, you can. I have HouseHack funds in an IRA and a Roth. Oh, well, that's perfect then. There you go. Well, then I'll see if Directed can help me set it up for my kids. Maybe that was the snag, is can I do it with the children? Because then it's a custodial Roth, right? So maybe that was the snag we were trying to figure out. So McKay helped me work with Directed IRA instead of my Roth and traditional IRA with HouseHack funds. That's sick. Okay, all right, well, that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, the kids might be the snag. Yeah, I think that might have been what it is. So, there we go. Cool. That's what I got. So big old update there on HouseHack. If you got questions beyond this, email us at ir@househack.com. You can also text me at this number on screen here. I'm going to be texting folks back tonight and probably tomorrow as well. I'll be on it. And then happy to help if you got any questions. If you're interested in HouseHack, you can learn more at househack.com. We're probably going to update and transition the website from househack.com to Reinvest probably within a week or so. And then we'll actually have a little bit more on like the AI app and some more stuff on the front page of the website. So I think that'll be really cool. That transition is in progress. The website's not perfect yet. So I still have some work to do. I go through it almost every day and I'm like, let's change this. Let's adjust this. Let's adjust this. But that's my job, right? So awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for being here, folks. We'll see you in the next one.